Hi everybody, how are you? I'm Amuna Sayed, your science teacher. Welcome to the academic year 2020 to 21. This is your science book and I'm going to present lesson number 1 of week 3. Let's recall our previous lesson. Now who will tell me that what is energy? Very good. Yes, energy is the ability of the body to do work, and there are different forms of energy we have learned in our previous class, and there are energy converters, which basically convert energy from one form to another, but the total amount of energy remains the same. But some of the energy that is extra, they dissipated in the form of heat. Like extra energy has been lost in the form of heat. Understand? Let's move ahead. So this is unit 8, that is energy, and the topics under discussion are non-renewable resources, renewable resources. The learning objectives of today's lesson is non-renewable and renewable resources, energy from the earth. Let's have a warm-up activity. So here is a boy who is holding a ball. If you refer your last lesson, can you able to answer this question like what whether this ball has energy or not? Well, let's see that. Yes. When you raise the ball at certain point, the ball gained a type of energy called potential energy. Okay? So the body will gain some energy which is potential energy that is due to the height. Now let's talk about the energy resources, that is non-renewable resources and renewable energy resources. So non-renewable energy resources, as the name indicates, non-renewable, something that is not able to renew again, something that is not able to reuse again. Okay, so these resources are limited because they are less in supply and they get depleted by use. They get finished by the use. It includes oil, it includes coal and natural gas, which are the fossil fuels, and they also include uranium, which is a nuclear fuel. Now, why are fossil fuels useful? Can you tell me? Give me some examples. Well, let me tell you that they burned in power station, as can you see a power station here, to produce electricity. They has been used for cooking and heating at home. We can use fossil fuels to make tar for roads, and we can use to make plastics burned in Bunsen burner at school. If you have ever visited to your school laboratory where you can see a Bunsen burner, and it also used to make petrol, diesel oil, and lubricating oil, and many more. So there are many uses of fossil fuels. That's why they are very useful. So these are the non-renewable energy source, and how they are formed. Actually, they were formed from the remains of living organisms. Okay, like the dead remains of living organisms that was about million years ago, and they release energy, that is the heat energy. When we burn them, they release heat energy. And there are some of the downsides, however, that includes the global warming, like when we heat up these sort of things, they releases some dangerous gases like sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide, and they basically lead to acid rain and increase in global warming. mm. You see, the earth is getting so warmer day by day. And some of the non-renewable energy resources are fossil fuel, that is oil, coal, nuclear fuels, which includes uranium and natural gas. Here are the renewable energy resources. As the name indicates, something that can be replenished, that can be used again and again. So these resources can be used indefinitely. It includes solar energy, wind energy, tidal and wave energy, hydroelectric energy, geothermal energy, biomass, and organic waste material. So these are some of the energies that are renewable. We can use them again and again indefinitely. Okay. Talking about the solar energy, as the name indicates, it means the energy that is come from the sun. Okay. So it's a very bright and heat light that comes from the sun, and we can use or exploit this light to for different advanced technologies, like we use it in solar panels, in solar cells, and sun, which is the most powerful source of energy. It provides the earth with as much energy every hour as we collectively use in a year worldwide. Well, that's an amazing statement to tell you about the importance of solar energy. So energy from the sense they can be used in two different ways. Harnessed means they can be used, they can be controlled in two ways. We can use it in solar furnace, and we can use the solar energy in different solar panels. So these are the solar panels, and this is a solar furnace. Now here comes wind energy. So wind power is another clean form of energy, and it has been used in different forms, and it has been used for thousands of years to turn windmills to grind corn. Here you can see a windmill. So in this process, or in this type of energy, the electrical energy that is obtained from harnessing the wind with the windmills or wind turbines is called wind energy. So the modern wind turbines that generate electricity can be built singly or in groups. And when they are in groups, they are called wind farms. And do you know that the most suitable sites for them are in shallow water offshore, and they can get damaged by storms. So it should be very firm, and it should be very, strong. And they can be noisy sometimes, and they can be dangerous for wildlife. And while some people believe that they spoil the look of the landscape, wind turbines work best in windy places, so they are sited in a places where it is very windy all the time. So as I will talked about the wind farms. So when they are in groups, they are called wind farms. Here you can see a wind farm. So here comes the water power, and about a fifth of all electricity we use today is generated by flowing water, and the water is held back by a dam, and it is piped downhill to drive turbines, and these in turn switch or drive the generators that produce hydroelectric power. Is very clean form of producing electricity and energy, but dams are expensive to build, and they cause problems for water life as well. Here you can see a dam, another picture of a dam which is holding back water, and it is a big um, dam, and they when we build dam they can cause damage to the water life. For example, different fishes, they have difficulty swimming up rivers and to breed if there are dams in their way. So the reservoir, the artificial lake behind the dam, can provide water. The reservoir is basically an artificial lake that is behind the dam, and they can provide water for use in homes and in factories, and for farming crops and for fish farming as well. But as the reservoir fills, it floods valuable farmlands and people's homes. So over a long period, mud and silt collect in the reservoir, eventually making it useless. And what happens that when the flowing water fall onto the blades, they turn the blades of turbine and they start rotating a shaft over here, and then they drives an electrical generator converting the motion energy into electrical energy. So that's how the hydroelectric power stations produce electricity. And the provide hydro means water, and that's why they're also called water power stations. And the large hydroelectric power station uses the power of running water, and they turn its machinery and produce electricity. Talking about the tidal and wave power, so it is another source of clean energy and is that of the oceans and seas. So there are only a few major tidal power stations in the world at present, because they are very expensive work to do, and the turbines and the other technologies, they can capture the power of waves and tides, and then they convert into clean pollution free electricity. Okay, so this is also a renewable resource of energy. Here you can see a tidal power station. So the first tidal power plant was built across the river Rance in northern France, and the newer one at Annapolis Royal in Nova Scotia, Canada, and another in South Korea. And they are similar in many ways to a water plant, except they are built across the mouth of a river. So this is the difference between the hydropower station and the tidal and wave power station. And the calm weather is ideal for the tidal and wave power plants. Well, can you see a picture here? And there is written geothermal energy. Geo means earth, thermal means heat. So the heat energy that is coming out from the earth is called geothermal energy. So in some places there are hot rocks not far from the surface of the earth, and sometimes there are hot springs, there are geysers, or boiling mud pools. And if the water is pumped down to these hot rocks underground, it is heated. It's boiling. And many hot springs in Japan, New Zealand, Iceland, the United States, Mexico, and other countries are used to drive generators that produce electricity. So that's how they are utilizing or they are harnessing geothermal energy. And sometimes they also provide hot water to heat a building, swimming pools, and or greenhouses. And in Iceland, four-fifths of the country's homes are kept warm by geothermal energy. And because the hot spring and geysers are normally they are found where the volcanoes and earthquakes occur, so there is always the danger that pipes carrying the hot water or steam may break during an eruption or earthquake. So that's a bit bad, you can say, um, disadvantage or a problem with the geothermal. Here is an assignment. So you need to read Unit 8, page number 83 to 91. And you need to learn and write dictation words and question answers. And the key will be provided to you, so don't worry about the answers. You will have the science notes. You can easily get help from the science notes. So this is the key of your assignment. And from here you can easily write down the question answers in your notebook. This is question number 8. What energy changes are taking place when the question is incomplete here because the question was quite big, so you need to complete it from the book. That's why I have put bracket and I have write continued. So you need to complete the question from the book. Okay, so this is here is the answer. This is question number 11. What kinds of energy do the following have? And here you can see the answer. Then question number 12. If you drop a plate on the floor, what energy takes place? And question number 13. Water at the top of a hill has potential energy. Where and how does the water get its potential energy? So that's all. Here is the wrap up slide. So energy is the ability of the body to do work. There are two main sources of energy, that is the renewable and non-renewable energy resources. And when we have also talked about the energy from the earth and its uses, biomass and its importance, energy and the human body and its effect on quality of life. And we have also discussed several ways to save energy. And finally, we have talked about the sun, which is the main source of our. Thank you so much. Take care.